So I've played hundreds of games of shootout hockey, but this is the first time I've ever seen anything like this. This is Chicago backup goaltender for the 1947-48 season, Doug Jackson's last career NHL game. In this game in real life, Jackson surrendered 12 goals. Ready to replicate that is the shootout engine, where, and again, this is definitely a first for me. I don't even think I've seen anything all that close to this. So Toronto enters this game. I did some pregame rolls, and Toronto, they come into this game. Their offense basically is AA or A1 on the earlier editions of the cards. So they are ready to go, all guns blazing or whatever. Chicago, on the other hand, decent for them. They are a good team on the road with the away offense. Actually, their role turned up in A as well. They're going to be up against Turk Broda here in Toronto. And so far in my replay of this season, and I mean, it remains to be seen how close to, what am I trying to say here? How, I don't like the word accurate, but like how close it will be to history once everything is all said and done. Right now, there's more parity in my replay relative to how things played out historically. So Chicago enters this game in my replay, not in real life. In real life, they were like 4-12-2. My replay, they're 8-9-1. Toronto 9-7-3 in my replay, and in real life, they were, I think, 10-6-3 coming into this game. So actually, that's pretty close, come to think of it then, for Toronto. It's only one off. So there you go. It's not even all that far off from history. But I mean, this matchup really speaks for itself. It's Doug Jackson's last career NHL game. Doug Jackson is from Winnipeg, Manitoba, born in 1924 in late in December. I forget if it was the 12th or the later in December anyway. I think it might have been the 12th actually, or the 14th is kind of ringing a bell as well. But he was not yet 23 years old at the time, was Doug Jackson, Chicago's backup goaltender. And so I had entirely no intention of doing this until I did a little looking around on Hockey Reference before setting up to play this game. And I still want to, and I've said this a couple of times already at least, but I still want to present these games differently than how I have presented them with what little I've presented, I guess. I just overused the word presented, but with this 47-48 season replay, and that's why I haven't really done much with this one yet. I'm trying to just learn how to do some things differently. But anyway, to speak vaguely on that, I want to see if I can, come close to replicating the score. Can Toronto, in fact, score a dozen goals? Because it seems like there have been a lot of high-scoring games so far in my replay with odds of receiving chances to score being a lot less than this, and still teams getting 7, 8, 9 goals per game. So Boston actually just a couple of games before they beat New York by a score of 7-4. There were, however, a lot of pretty high-scoring games that year as well. Historically, I think it was the third year after the conclusion of World War II. And so maybe that had something to do with it. Teams, just rosters, back full health, playing hockey actively and firing in all cylinders. I have noticed there does seem to be an extraordinarily high number of rookies this season as well. Maybe not, but it just appears that way. Again, just going through, having a cursory look at things on Reference, and so maybe that had something to do with it. But among those rookies, again, was a then 22 years old Doug Jackson, and he got he got shelled in real life, and he could be very well about to, could very well be about to get shellacked here. Anyway, sorry, I'm a bit tired here. It's the end of the day. It is what it is. I entirely had no intention of playing this until I realized, when I took a closer look at things, I just thought this would be a fun game to replay historically. Anyway, so we're going to get things started off here with 2 minutes coming off the clock, and really any big gaps, any big chunks of minutes passed can really help Chicago out here. Where I must add that the Chicago Blackhawks, and yes, I'll show how I've been playing it recently, so I shuffle a lot less now. The Blackhawks have Gay Stewart on the second line. Stewart is actually leading the NHL in my replay in scoring right now. He has 14 goals and 30 points going into this game. His line mate, Bud Poyle, with 13 goals and 28 points. I'd have to check between him and Elmer Locke, actually, to see who's ahead right now. But Montreal just got shut out. So anyway, it's probably more than you needed or wanted to know. And a 98 as if they needed it. Toronto here with a scoring chance just a couple of minutes in. Where we're going to look to Sil Apps. Sil Apps been picking it up a bit recently. He was slow to the gate to start the season. Apps has it in the slot. That's certainly helping his cause here. And the snake-bitten and gun-shy Sil Apps has gotten Toronto on the board just 2 minutes into this. So right now they're on pace for, what, 30 goals over the course of 60 minutes, where they managed a mere 12 in real life. Anyway, we're going to take another couple off the clock here. Or, sorry, no, you're not. Sorry, hold on to that. I could just backfill, but for purposes, whatever. The goal was scored. Sorry, the goal was scored at, because goodness, that's going to, okay. I'll discombobulate it now. Apps, slot, goal, 40. So I'm going to say at a minute 40, buck 40 into it. And L3D2, I'm going to look L1D2. Apps can't help out his own goal, or he can't receive a point for it, much as he might have helped himself there. However, straight up Apps from Watson and Nicky works for me, a minute 40 in. So 1-0 for Toronto. Because what I do is I play it back after the fact, and then I go and fill it in on the Delphi, plus update the spreadsheet. Anyway, probably didn't need to know that. It goes up to 3 minutes now. And lo and behold, another scoring chance here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto, let's see, we got player G. Player G is on line 2. That's Vic Lynn there on line 2. Vic Lynn has it in the face-off circle. And Vic Lynn, Doug Jackson tasked to make a big save here. He needs either a 9 or a 10. Come on, Jackson. Oh my goodness, he just narrowly missed it there with that a save check of an 8. So it is just 3 minutes in now. Toronto's on pace again for 20 or 30 goals in this one. More than that, I think now at 45. It's going to be hard, actually, with this. I might have to go grab more Uno cards. But anyway, we are 3 minutes in now, and Vic Lynn has scored to make this a 2-0 hockey game. Chicago Blackhawks fans, Michael Owens might want to look away. Good one for Leafs fans, however. So we're going to say 2:05 into the period here. L2D1, Lynn plays in L2 conveniently. So R5, Lynn, again, much like Apps there, can't help his own goal. But Howie Meeker, he's well into the double digits already for assists. Excellent sophomore effort from Meeker in the center, Ted Kennedy. So we'll give it straight second line, I guess, much like the first goal in the first line. It's Vic Lynn from Howie Meeker and Ted Kennedy here at, I believe I said 2:05. 2 more coming off the clock now, up to a handful of minutes into the period. And we have, let's see here, the possible penalty against the Chicago Blackhawks. Again, as if the Leafs need a power play, right? So X and Y too. I guess, I'm going to put Gay Stewart in the box. So I'm just, Chicago is just getting punished here. Anyway, they do somewhat miraculously manage to kill that first minute there of power play time for the Leafs, but of course in the second minute they won't be so lucky. They won't escape so easily. It's going to be Apps again looking to double up, and he has it here in the slot on the power play where he's going to score and make it 3-0 Toronto. So 3-0 for the Toronto Maple Leafs 7 minutes in, where these add up to 19. I think I can take the second one and do the double digits, 11 and so on and so forth. But anyway, we get another minute off the clock here, back to even strength, up to the 8 minutes, where again 94, like Toronto needs it, out shooting the mark here by a little. They would have just been killer in this game anyway. Player D, that's going to be Harry Watson on Toronto's line 1, and Watson will have it in the face-off circle where save for Doug Jackson. And by the way, Jackson again, look, this is nothing personal. If you're a Hawks fan, the poor man passed away in 1980, but I mean, he was 22 years old here, and he got to the NHL in the first place. Already a fantastic goalie. This is in an original 6 era. Would have been one of the better netminders in the world at the time to come in, heavy load on his shoulders. I presume Francis was injured. He was away from the team for a tenure for one reason or another over this late November, early December period. So, and I think the only games Chicago's won are games I forgot to actually start Jackson in. But I will make up for that. I'm going to start him twice more in my replay against the Boston Bruins, once home and the other time away. But historically, this was Jackson's final game in the NHL. So anyway, 3-0. And back to even. Oh boy, lost my train of thought. Right, Jackson made a save. How could I forget that shootout? You can kind of go back and check. Anyway. 4 more minutes come off the clock here, so we're up to minute 12 after I just blacked out a little bit there momentarily. 23 for Chicago. Look at this, a chance for the Blackhawks to get back into this game. where Bud Poyle has the puck and Gay Stewart is now out of the box. Poyle with it there in the slot. Things looking pretty good. Yes, they are going to get on the board. They did, in fact, score 5 in real life in this game. It was something of an all-star game, one might say. Yes, they've battled their way back here a dozen minutes in. Who knows? Anyway, 19, so I'm going to say at 11-19, I'm going to look to L2D1 there. And right wing there, so Poyle. But I did say that Poyle had the puck, right? Player B. Fatigue is setting in. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So Poyle can't get a second point there in his own goal. However, the line, that seems to be a trend coming up already, and I've used close to half the deck here. We're 12 minutes into the frame. Anyway, we're going to take 3 more off the clock. Now we're up to minute 15. This is just a little fun. This is my equivalent here of like a Gardner or a blowout bowl sort of thing. And look at this. Lo and behold, the Chicago Blackhawks looking to get back to within 1 here. We look to player H and not to the penalty. That is Red Hamill on the first line. Hamill has it in the face-off circle. Fires from the dot, and that's going to be stopped, turned aside there by Turk Broda, where we get another minute off the clock now. So 4 to go here in the period. Of course, that's a Toronto scoring chance. Also, on the power play, they actually run into Chicago's power play range on the... Anyway, it's ridiculous. But Toronto here, yes, they will get that's going to be a chance for them here. And it's going to be player D, so that is Watson there in the top line. And Watson, I'm going to lose track pretty quickly here, but he just has it at the blue line. And lo and behold, it's going to be boxed out by the Chicago D, where we're going to keep going here. We get another 3 off the clock now. Up to minute 19, and 15. Look at this, Chicago with some... trying to get some get back here. Hope I haven't missed a goal for Toronto. Anyway, it's going to be player Q there. That's, I believe, Ralph Natras from the top defensive pairing. Natras has it in the slot. He decides he'll do it himself in this crazy game. And lo and behold, he does. Chicago making a run for it, or making, you know, whatever here. They're rallying late in the first period, where I'm going to say here at 18:32 and L1D1, Natras is on D1. And so it's going to be Natras from Doug Bentley and his defensive line mate there, his pairing mate, Ernie Dickens. Okay, at 18:32. Anyway, it's going to be now I play up to the 20th minute. That's how I've pretty much always done it, I think. So up to and including the 20th minute, Toronto here, the chance in the final minute of the frame, where player G, Vic Lynn, looking to add another. He's not done yet, but he's at the blue line. He's running out of time. Can we get the 9 or 10 here for Jackson to make the big stop? He does it! Doug Jackson has made a dynamic stop late in the first period there on Vic Lynn. I have to be careful. It is approaching midnight here. But Doug Jackson hit the lights out. And that's not a 0 minute, so that's going to spell the end of the first period for me. I was just thinking, actually, had Toronto scored the 4th goal there in the period, 4-2, that would put me pretty close on pace for the real-life game score of 12-5. So we're 13 minutes into this now. That's definitely a lot longer than it needs to be. But what can I say? I'm having fun here. Again, completely, I know I've mentioned it a few times already, but completely was not going to play this on camera, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it. But then when I saw it, just... can't really say the magnitude of this game, but just what did transpire in this game. Significance in history. I think anytime that one does a season project, and I realize I'm shuffling a little more than I said I would off the top, but anytime one does a season replay project, they happen upon certain names, certain unknown names. Of course, you know, this was 74 years ago here, now to the day. And it's, yeah, 6 career NHL games, 1 win, 4 losses, 1 tie, 42 goals surrendered in the 6 games, 12 of the 42 goals surrendered here. Go Doug Jackson. Okay, it's going to be here 2 minutes off the clock. Wouldn't it be something if you got the upset win here? So 2 off the clock here in period 2. We had 9 penalties in real... 9? 11. 11 minors in real life in this game. I don't think these teams are going to have time for that. Chicago, however, they're looking to tie the game here and really turn the tide on history. So F, that is George G there from the 3rd line. G has it in the face-off circle. And look at this. It's going to be Broda tasked to make a big stop here. We're the 10. Chicago has tied the game here. They did score 5 in the actual game again. So George G and the Chicago Blackhawks have evened it at 3 here early in period 2. We're going to say a minute 3 in to be exact. We're looking to G in the top defense pairing possibly. Again, G can't get an assist on his own goal. He still can't get an assist on his own goal, try as he may. But the R5 in the right wing, I will credit a lone assist there to veteran Bill Mosienko. And we're going to play forward here, G for Mosienko, just a minute 3 in, and now we're up to 3 in. Where 74, of course it's a Toronto chance, and I did see that card last period. I'm conscious of that. 29 there, player C, that's our first C. That's Max Bentley on line 3. Usually doesn't wake up till the third period, but lo and behold, here in the second frame, Bentley from the face-off circle, where he's denied one way or another by the Chicago defense. Up to minute 4 now we go, and we've got a 31. That's not quite going to be a scoring chance for the Chicago Blackhawks, so we're going to take another 4 off the clock here up to minute 8. I hope in spite of how things look, we get a competitive game. And speaking of that, Chicago going ahead here, I mean, it is early, but we've got Gay Stewart with it, looking to get goal number 15 in the season from the blue line, looking to hoodwink Turk Broda from there. We have another big save check. Broda with the 11. He can't do it. The high-rolling Chicago Blackhawks are now ahead. Were they down 3-0 at one point? I think they've come back and scored 4 unanswered goals here for us. So Gay Stewart there, hardly surprised. That's his 15th goal and 31st point. Chicago entering just their 19th game. That puts them on a clean, 93-point pace or whatever in this. It's the time of the goal is 7:53. I do look to L2D1. And Stewart, again, he can't assist on his own goal. Ernie Dickens will pick up another helper here. And as will Bub Poyle with his 29th or I think 30th point of the campaign, actually, right? 1 or 2 and behind Stewart anyway. So we're going to play forward here, up 4-3 Chicago now. It's going to be up to minute 11. Michael Owens come back. Okay, 59. That's not, I hope I've not done that. Because, I mean, how many games have I played where I'd see a 59 and just think nothing of it and flip forward? If I've done that, I apologize to Maple Leafs, fans everywhere. Anyway, so 59 and then J, that's going to be, Harry Watson again there in Toronto's top line. Watson with it here at the blue line, where it does seem that Toronto's had a number of their chances. So Chicago, they're aware that they have Jackson, in goal in the crease. They have to protect him. So 3 more off the clock now. We're going to go Vegas a la around Maxime Lagacé in their first season, and where they collapse around him. Well, 30, that won't be a chance for either team. 4 more minutes come off the clock now. That should favor Chicago, if any, logically up by a goal here. With the 43, however, a penalty will not. Just the second one that we're looking at here, potentially. I'll go bottom to top this time. I don't see a Y, and I don't see an X2. So they're irate at Maple Leaf Gardens. Adamant that Chicago got away with one there with an infraction that should have been whistled down. Should have been nabbed for it anyway. 26, no. So with that goes from 19 to 22, so I would stop the period there. If it's 20 even, I think I forgot to at the end of the first period. I normally do a follow-up flip, and if it's a 0 minute, I will allow one further play, and if it isn't, then I just say it's intermission. Anyway, shocking turn of events here after 2 periods of play. It is 4-3 for the Chicago Blackhawks in a game historically that they lost 12-5. Maybe Jackson will pick up the dub. I don't want to speak so soon. The Toronto could go full Boston third period on Chicago here, like Boston did on New York in a game that was played earlier in this day. Anyway, again, I been holding back from showing games from this project, but I just took a second look at this one and just decided that this would be one to show. So we're at 4-3 Chicago after 2, especially if we get a surprising result. Even now, this is already, call it a moral victory already for the Blackhawks, where they could be penalized here once more. Looking for that makeup call after all the protesting late in period 2. YZ, I'm going to take Natras and put him in the box. Leave the sophomore Gadsby alone. So, of course, Toronto has a power play here, 3 into the third period. And player F, that's Howie Meeker. Howie Meeker with it here. Man advantage Toronto. And the slot on the power play not looking good for Doug Jackson in Chicago. And indeed, that's going to be a tie game here relatively early in the final frame. So it's 4-all here. Meeker on the power play. And it's going to be a 219. And because Meeker's top 6, I won't look to L1. If someone, this is a house rule, if someone in the bottom 6 or on the bench gets a power play goal, I will look to the line showing on the card for assist to award some points higher in the lineup. But anyway, so Meeker at 219, I'll look to L2D1 in this case, however. It's going to be Meeker from Vic Lynn picking up another point. And let's see if we can award one to Kennedy. Line, indeed, didn't I call that? So it's going to be Kennedy here, 4-4 game. Up to minute 6, I guess we go now. That would be right, 3-3. 86, of course, Toronto has a chance. And player G, Vic Lynn. Decent night for Vic Lynn. I wonder if it's because of just how I'm drawing the cards here. Lynn with it at the blue line, and look at that. Jackson's finally faltered. Lynn with the floater from afar, and Toronto's up here 5-4. Time of this goal, 5:56. And we will look L2D1 where the R5 actually, whoops, that's not Kennedy, but Lynn himself. So it is Lynn from Meeker. That's at least 3 points for the sophomore Howie Meeker. And Lynn, was that 3 cards? Even if it wasn't, we'll just say Lynn from Meeker there, the lone assist on the goal. It wasn't on the power play, so I think we're good to go. 2 more off the clock now, up to minute 8. Toronto up by 1. We're 17. Chicago's not done yet. Maybe they're not done yet. Anyway, player J, that's going to be, finally I get to say his name. Not that I can necessarily pronounce it correctly. We have Metro Pristai. And if you know how to pronounce his name, please let me know. Metro Pristai here. Pristai on the 4th line here for the Chicago Blackhawks with a scoring chance. Pristai has it at the blue line. And he's unable to score. Unsuccessful from there. 2 more coming off the clock now. We're up to minute 10. And here in minute 10 with the 13, Chicago, they're not going away. There is no overtime in this. This is, seasons ended in regulation, then had to get everyone home in the train. What I meant to say is that Gay Stewart has the chance. Stewart with it in the slot. And Turk Broda is just showing off now. Wow, up by a goal. He better watch out not to get too cocky. 11 here into the 3rd period, and the 56, there you go. Toronto's penalized. That could be one way for Chicago to battle back. Their first infraction of the game, I'm going to award it to Ted Kennedy. And look at this, Chicago, lo and behold, 8 minutes to go here. One would think they'd have to make the most of this. Player H, Red Hamill on the top line, will make a good bid for it, where Hamill has it in the slot on the power play. And Turk Broda, that's what he gets for grinning moments ago. It is Red Hamill tying the game at 5 before I forget to change the score here at this hour in this state of fatigue. So 46, so 11:46 here. Red Hamill, I'm going to look L1D1. And Hamill here from the R5, that is Roy Conacher. And 6, that's Doug Bentley conveniently. So it's Chicago's top line. They've tied it here in the power play. And actually, technically, I almost feel like invoking that historical rule that Montreal ended up changing in the mid-late 50s. I don't actually do it for this because I feel like the shootout engine isn't built for it. So I do normally scrap a power play after a single power play goal has been scored. And I'm aware that historically that's not how that was done. But anyway, we get 3 more off the clock here. We got 5 minutes to go in the game, a game that's dead 5-all. Chicago has met their 5 goals. Toronto, I don't know, got a lot of goals to make up for here in limited time. They need those 0 minutes cards where, again, 5 to go here in the game. 79, of course, it's a Toronto chance. The Toronto chance will go to player B. So it is Ted Kennedy. Ted Kennedy here with it at the blue line, however. Can Jackson stop it from there? No. 6-5 Toronto. I don't even have a dog in this fight, but just that I'm somewhat disappointed. Anyway, but again, Chicago has time, so let's see. Precisely at 14:57, we will award this goal and look L2D2 for additional points where the 6 is Kennedy. The right wing is Meeker. Got to be at least 4 for him among Toronto's 6. And then Lynn as well can be credited with 1. So again, Kennedy, Meeker, Lynn. Big game here for Toronto's second line. Again, involved in about 2/3 of their goals. That hurts Chicago. So a couple of minutes to go here. Running out of time, but look at this. The Blackhawks looking to at least salvage a point in this one. Gay Stewart, does he have a couple yet? I think he was denied there. He would have his second goal. Stewart has in the slot. And look at that, Turk Broda trying to preserve the win here for the Maple Leafs. Okay. Anyway, pulling the goalie was rare then, so I don't want to, even though I said what I said about the power play, I don't want to play with history that much. So we are up to, but again, this is the 20th and final minute here. And it's looking like there's going to be a penalty. And I do penalties as well, because it just seems like there aren't that many. I mean, there weren't that many in this one. There were 11 historically. So possible penalty here to Toronto. V, whatever, I'll give them the penalty. We'll say 1927. There's what it says in the card. Now, if this is a 0 minute, that would coincide with the Chicago scoring chance. So let's see if they can do that here in the first minute of power play time. No, they can't. Okay, so it's game over. You get a much closer game than historically, however. A 6-5 contest, a 6-5 tilt there for Toronto. Again, Doug Jackson, his 6th and final NHL game in history. I think I will give him a couple of more starts that I inadvertently forgot to give him against the Boston Bruins. I owe him that at least. But again, when I saw what it was, I just wanted to get this one on camera. So anytime that you give to anything like this, again, me chilling out, having fun, somewhat tired and mumbly and everything at day's end, thank you very much for that, even though it's never expected. Again, it is always appreciated. So enjoy the games, enjoy your game of shootout, and let me know finally in the comments as well if you have ever played a game where you had a double A up against a goaltender J. I'd be curious to know that, because again, I've lost count, several hundred games of shootout now. I want to guesstimate, and I'm quite sure this is the first time that it's ever happened to me. But as you can see, the beauty of the shootout engine, Chicago, through a combination of some power play time and several minutes transpired at some points as well where the Leafs might have gotten the goal, but the time ran quick. It was a close game. Anyways, once again, cheers, thanks, and bye for now.